Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bible with Jokes, Episode 3, where we just got done tracing the lineages of a bunch of 600-year-old dudes and their spawn. But those days are over now, because God has now randomly decreed that his spirit shall not always strive with man, for he also is flesh. And so now the age limit of humans is 120 years. He was probably getting real sick of Lamech or somebody and just went, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and reduce your lifespan by 80%. Nothing happened prior to this to warrant this sudden drastic change, at least not that has been so far outlined. The passage preceding this declaration was basically just, and so it came to pass that dudes begat dudes, and when the dudes had daughters, the sons of God saw that they were fine af, and so chose of them to be their wives. Maybe the multiplication of people was getting to be so much that God thought they needed shorter lives to not go haywire and overrun the planet, or maybe he wanted to shorten their lifespans preemptively so that it would be less of a blow when he started culling them, because we all know that's coming up. The Bible then says verbatim, "There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children with them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown." So first of all, there's giants. Cool. Towering behemoths just roaming the earth like that's normal. And also women may or may not be out here giving birth to giants. Can't imagine them surviving those pregnancies. That delivery must be like getting out of a clown car. The Bible then says, "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually." Wow, humongous, heartfelt generalization there. God is now straight up racist towards humanity, saying they all have wicked, evil thoughts and imaginations, and it goes on to say that he regrets ever creating not only humanity, but everything else too. The birds, the creeping things, fair enough on that one, the beasts, and he says he will destroy all of it. What did the birds do, man? Did a couple of them do a drive-by poop on his windshield? What evil imaginations are turtles having out here? This is a completely illogical, scorched earth tantrum to throw, just aimless, careless annihilation delivered on a whim. One of my main problems with Christianity, as a reason why I wouldn't follow it, even if it were somehow proven to be inarguably true, is that I don't forgive that. Bro had a problem with humans, and he just let everything else be collateral damage, as if genociding humanity isn't reason enough. Like, there's no way every single human on Earth somehow turned into a piece of shit, as evidenced by the fact that Noah was still God's champion during this. Must be weird to be Noah and have God come at you with this idea like, "Noah, you are the only good human. You alone have my favor. The rest of your kind sucks so bad. Please be complicit and aid in my destruction of everyone who looks like you." He never warned them, either, that this would happen if they didn't shape up and change their ways, whatever their ways were. It just started raining one day and never stopped. The humans must have been like, wow, it's pretty hard to be evil and wicked in waist-deep water. What's going on here? I'm jumping ahead a bit, though. Let's go back. Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah was just a man, perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. Girls say the perfect man doesn't exist, but he did, and thousands of years ago he made a big boat. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. You did not name your son Ham, dude. That's like the worst meat. Name him steak or filet mignon. Hell, name him corn dog. Anything but ham. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. That's exactly how it's written, like a setup to its own joke. So God tells Noah that everything's corrupt, and that he will destroy everything, and he tells Noah to build a boat with very specific dimensions and instructions, like something from IKEA. He says the length of the ark should be 300 cubits, which in ancient times were like 18 inches each, so then you'd end up with an ark that is 450 feet long, and according to other specifications, 75 feet wide and 45 feet high. God wants it to have a window and to be 3 stories as well, and whoever makes God the best ark will be this season's master carpenter and win 250,000 shekels. So God tells Noah that he has joined his covenant along with his family, who all get to be on the boat because they're all perfect, I guess. Noah, his wife, his sons, and his sons' wives. Dude, there's no way in hell there isn't an evil sister-in-law in there somewhere, or a problem child for Noah like the Hunter Biden of biblical times. And I know a lot of you have probably wondered what the real meat and potatoes of the whole 2x2 animal thing looks like, so I'll read it as written. "And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female," or non-binary is okay too. Take that, Christians! If the Bible was its own Wikipedia page, it would totally have edits like that. "And God said, Noah, make sure the bathrooms on the ark are gender inclusive, and that any bird who so identifies as a cow shall be milked thereof." So they bring 2 of every fowl, every beast, every creeping thing, and somehow the food chain takes a timeout. These animals are so well behaved in the presence of their natural predators and prey that you have to wonder why God felt the need to massacre them all. They are literally the perfect picture of harmony, but God still said, drown the rest. One theory I just came up with is the idea that because the human population was about to be like 8, the rest of the wildlife needed to be similarly reduced, or else Noah and his family would step off the boat and get mauled by 300 black bears. But I still don't like it. Population control of animals to prevent damage to the ecosystem is one thing. Like, if there's too many wild boars in an area, they just ruin everything and kill the environment, so keep a lid on that, sure. But lowering everything to 2 per species is still peak insanity. In addition to that, God told Noah to gather every kind of food that exists and put that shit in there too. And then there's a bit of a language disconnect for me here because the passage is, "Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by 7s, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by 2, the male and his female." He says to do this with the fowl too, so I looked it up, and apparently clean beasts and fowl are types of animals that are good for sacrificing, that God likes. Whereas if you were to sacrifice a badger or something, God would be like, "What the hell is this?" Nice to see that God has favorite animals he prefers to see killed. I bet he never told Cain any of them. Personally, I think I'd rather be an unclean beast. That must have been a disappointment to the clean beasts. You've got 2 of every other animal but 9 sheep, and the sheep are like, hell yeah, we're gonna be the new dominant species on this freshly washed earth, just to figure out you were only saved so you could be killed later as an offering. That's so crazy, dude. God's gonna wipe out all creatures, but tells Noah to save some so they can still be sacrificed for his pleasure later. Actual sicko behavior. Don't worry, Noah, I'll save some of the killing for you, for me. So after the ark is built, Noah has 7 days to gather up all the creatures in 2s and 7s like the Lord commanded, a time frame where success seems incredibly unlikely, but it's the Bible, so what does anyone care about how unlikely anything is? They still made a major religion out of it, and our whole society is founded on some of its principles. How'd they get the bears in there? Trank darts? How many miles did you have to walk to even find a giraffe? Did we lose one of the sisters-in-law to an uncooperative lion? All this on the shoulders of a 600-year-old man. This dude isn't leading animals anywhere but a nursing home. So the flood begins, the iconic 40 days and 40 nights. The Bible says the waters rose to an astronomical height of 15 cubits, covering hills and mountains that were a staggering 22.5 feet high. Are you sure those mountains weren't molehills? Turns out the earth was flat, just not in the way those people think. What are you doing today, Noah? I'm gonna climb the world's tallest mountain. Be back in 5 minutes. Whoa, I can see my house from here. Yeah, you're at street level and it's half a block away. So humans could be giants and the mountains were midgets. Wonder what else we'll discover about this ancient world. So the water remained at that level for 150 days, and everything died. It's a literal sea of animal carcasses and bloated human corpses floating around a lone boat, while God looks down at it all like, hell yeah, I make good decisions. That'll teach humans to be evil and animals to be themselves. We just got to page 4, by the way. 150 days seems like a lot. I don't know if you've ever seen someone drown, but it usually takes a little bit less time than that. God just wanted to spend some time basking in the peaceful damnation of unmade creation as an extended vacation. Bars. But God eventually ran out of PPTO and decided it was time to unflood, so he created a gust of wind that slowly blew all the water away. Sure, man. The waters assuaged, and the ark found itself on top of the 15-foot-tall mountain of Ararat with a flightless bird's-eye view of the surface. But so for another 40 days and a couple of weeks before the waters were fully gone, Noah is completely in the dark here. God never appears like, alright, you can get out now. He has to just keep sending ravens and doves out the window to see if there's any dry land for them to perch on, and if they come back, it means there isn't any, and he waits another 7 days before sending them out again, as if he can't just stick his head out the window and look down. So the dove eventually comes back with an olive wreath in its mouth, and Noah's like, hooray, trees! But then when the waters fully recede, it takes a whole nother month for the ground to dry, with everyone still stuck in the ark for some reason. Like, so it's a little marshy. Get out there and rebuild civilization, you princess. In total, Noah and everyone spent like 240 days on the ark before God finally said, hey guys, come on out. 240 days of shoveling 2 of every animal's manure and dumping it out the one window in the boat. The whole sea must have been brown with shit and decay from all the bodies still out there, which are now just scattered on the ground like the aftermath of a great war. This is not a quaint and fun story for kids. This is a putrid apocalyptic nightmare. So everyone exits the ark for round 2 of creationism, and Noah builds an altar and sacrifices all the clean beasts who just spent 240 days waiting for a chance to live. God accepts these burnt offerings and thinks to himself, never again shall I curse the ground for man's sake, and never again will I smite every living thing. Aw, it's okay, as long as you learned your lesson in the end. What is this, an episode of Arthur? You killed everyone! God then blesses Noah and his sons, not the wives, they're irrelevant, and says to be fruitful and multiply, and to eat any meat they desire, but also no cannibalism, for if someone spills the blood of a man, they too will have their blood spilt, because murder only works out great if your name is Cain. And then God says, in honor of the covenant we have established, I will put my bow in the sky sometimes, and you can look at the pretty colors and be reminded of my promise to never kill everyone again. People accuse the LGBT of ruining the rainbow. Nah, that symbol came pre-ruined. I'll never commit genocide again isn't a strong message to rally behind. Now whenever I see a pride flag, I'm like, what did you do that you're promising not to do again? Noah's saga ends with exactly the type of short, weirdo, random aside that I was excited to find in the King James Bible. The whole reason I started this series was to find wacky stories like this that cannot be spun positively into any real lesson, and you wonder why it's even in the Bible to begin with. This doesn't even have anything to do with God. This is just Noah being a freak all by himself. It goes like this. So Noah was settling down and becoming a wine guy. He planted a vineyard and started partaking of the sweet alcoholic nectar, and one day he got so drunk that he was just passed out naked in a chair in his tent. Noah's youngest son Ham happened upon him, saw his nakedness, and told his brothers about it, who then showed up and, without looking, held up a blanket and walked backwards to cover Noah with it. Noah woke up and was outraged at Ham for some fucking reason, so he cursed Ham's son Canaan and made him be a servant to Ham's brothers for the rest of his life. The moral of the story is, if your dad passes out naked and you're the first one to find him, it's your fault and your son's now a slave. I guess it's supposed to be like, oh, Ham is the only one who saw his father's nakedness, so now he's tainted or something. But the only reason Ham's brothers aren't is because Ham warned them ahead of time. Any one of them could have stumbled upon this horrible sight. Another interpretation could be that Ham was making fun of his dad by telling his brothers and giggling with them, but there's no evidence of that in the passage. All it says is that he saw his dad and told his brothers. I don't think I need to say this, but if you pass out naked in a home full of family members and somebody ends up seeing something, that's 100% on you. This is God's champion. This is the guy that gave him hope for the human race. This is the perfect man. This is exactly what I was looking for. So that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Watch all my other videos passed out naked in your chair, and I'll see you guys next time.